Welcome to WAM, the Wellness Arts and Military Podcast. We connect military communities with enriching arts programs for overall well-being. Join us to explore creativity, wellness, and resilience.
Hello and welcome to the Wellness Arts and Military Podcast. My name is Gabriella Smith. I'm your host today, and we have Daniel Parrot, U.S. Army veteran and photographer here with us. Hello, Daniel. How are you today?
Hello, I'm really good, and thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, to start, I would just like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired your passion for photography.
Well, I'm from a place in Ohio you probably have never heard of, and no one ever hears about it, but didn't want to live there anymore, so I joined the Army to see the world.
Wow.
And to do that, I wanted to be a photographer, so I joined as a 25 Victor Combat Documentation Production Specialist, which unfortunately no longer exists. So if you guys want to do that, you can't. You have to be a 46 Victor, which is the Visual Information Specialist now. But every single person who has to do visual information in the military goes to the Defense Information School.
Mm.
The Defense Information School is in Maryland and it has all the branches of the military, but even more importantly, it has the best library I've ever seen. I don't know how
Amazing.
they did it. Yeah, so somebody did the budget right where they had art books, photo books, just like everything you need is in this library in Maryland. And when I was a soldier in school, I
Mhm.
went there almost every day, and it really exposed me to so much different art, art history that I really got hooked. And so when I
Nice.
was a soldier, I was in a Humvee in the desert reading art books, and some of the books I have still have the desert sand in the pages. So that was my start, was just looking at books in the Defense Information
Wow.
Library.
In your application, it states that you've been studying natural light in your photography. Did that start when you joined the military?
So when you're on a mission with an infantry squad, you're not really allowed to bring a flash, and the best light source you're going to find is the sun. So I
Mm.
actually studied Ansel Adams' exposure bracketing system. It's where so basically the sand is always going to be pretty bright. So to get the proper exposure, I was just able to meter off the sand, and that would give me the proper exposure almost every single time. So that was my start of natural light. And then when I moved to the Olympic Peninsula, I was shocked that in June, sunset is like 10 p.m.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
sun out here is amazing. And going out west to where the sun sinks into the Pacific, it really just even more heightened my love for natural light and the sun. So that's one of the key things that I like to use in my military photos and also in my current work.
Could you tell us a little bit about your current project for your self-directed art practice grant and how studying natural light has helped shape the storytelling of this project?
Of course. So the main thing that I like to do is look at past inspiration. I'm sure you know of like Rembrandt, chiaroscuro, really the French, Dutch, Italian masters. So that's where I look for. And one of those is called the Trésor. I don't know how to say it. It's French, but it's the Rich Hours of the Duke of Berry is the English version. And it's
Mm.
basically just a documentation of life as it was at the time in France. So I had that idea to do that in where I live on the Olympic Peninsula. We have, not only great nature, but also people who have lived out here for some of them since time began.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to heighten that. And I've been lucky to take photos at the canoe journeys, which is where the tribes travel from place to place to um, keep their culture alive and traditional practices going. So they are
Very
in a
nice.
canoe for like, it's great. Yeah. So they're in a canoe for like 8 to 10 hours a day. So it usually starts at dawn So I was able to get some
Wow.
great photos there too. So that was kind of the seed of the project.
Nice. Yeah, in the first portion of your work, you said that you were going to collaborate with artists, models. Is that what you're talking about? Kind of the canoes, was that collaboration, or is there other types of collaboration?
So out here, there's a lot of loggers. So like that's one thing that I wanted to focus on, just like life out here. There's the Lavender Festival. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Yes.
that. But there's a
Yes.
bunch of lavender farms. So I just wanted to heighten the way that like the sun and nature interacts with the population out here and how it's like collaborative.
Yeah, that is awesome. What insights about your artistry and going through this project have you gained from also the design course?
One of the things that I like from the design course is that it really heightens the iterative process where you start with an idea and then you refine it over time. So from the proposal to the finished product, you're doing prototypes for the traditional artist, but for me as a photographer, I'm also refining my shots because when you're a photographer, one of the key things that you want to know and notice is when a moment is happening. In a sports, you want to catch the football,
Yeah.
when they score a touchdown. So you need to be able to predict what's going to happen. And so you need to be able to do that too. I like candid shots, especially when working with like somebody who's working, like let's say on the lavender farm, etc. So I want to be able to prepare for what's going to happen and then have the technical aptitude to capture that moment and also not be afraid of experimenting and trying different things. Try it close, try it far, you know, do
Mm-hmm.
a portrait, do a detail shot. So that's one of the things I've enjoyed from the class.
Nice. Then do you find yourself figuring out certain locations and spots that you want to stay in for hours at a time to just capture that one moment? Or is it more so you take the road trip and as you go, you find those spots?
I am almost at all times looking for good places and looking at light in my day-to-day life. I like to hike, surprise. I live on one of the most beautiful places in Earth
Right?
for hiking.
Yeah.
So I'm always hiking. I actually went up, I did 8 miles this weekend, and I'm always looking at light, especially because we're so far north that the
Mm.
sun hugs the south, especially. So I'm looking like from the solstice in December to the solstice in June, the sun is wildly different places. So I'm always looking at those and just kind of thinking about where the best light would be in a certain situation. Like one of my dream shots is there's a mountain up here called Storm King, and it looks
Yeah.
over Lake Crescent. And so I just know that I just have to wait for the right time of the year, and the sun's going to be right where I want it to be, and it's going to be there every single time, every year. I just have to hike the mountain.
Amazing. Do you take all your camera gear when you hike, or is it um, just what you need?
One of the things I learned as a soldier is to carry as little as possible. So I generally shoot with just my camera, which is
Mhm.
also why I lean on natural light. So then you don't have to bring all of the equipment because every pound is one that you are physically carrying up.
Yeah.
And I've also, one of the things a soldier taught me in the army is that the ground is a tripod you always have. So
Yeah.
just put your camera on the ground and it'll be stable.
Always good to take what you've learned, right? From your past experience. What is the goal for the end of this project?
My goal for the end of this project is one, have photos that I'm proud of, but also photos that I feel really capture the Olympic Peninsula. Tourism is a super big thing out here, along with the other industries that I mentioned. So I ideally would be able to create something that would entice somebody to come out here and experience just how it's like the land of the sun
Yes.
from especially during June, where you're just from 5 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. at night, the sun is out. and you can just enjoy it the entire time in a valley. The beaches are great. So the rivers, I really connected with the rivers out here. It's just
Yeah.
really a land of water and sun out here during the summer. The winter's a
Yeah.
different thing.
Yeah, time to refocus. Do you think that with your finished photos, you would um, place them in the community, or is it more so for reflective for yourself?
A lot of it is reflective for myself. Um, I really struggled after I left the army, and doing stuff like this has been really helpful of just learning to be more present in moments and just appreciate the sun on my face. But I
Hmm.
would like to have something that I could, there's a tourism board, and also just the lavender farms would probably appreciate good photos. There's like a
Yeah.
winery, so there's just all these different places that people want good photos, and this way I can help get good photos for them and also something for me. So it's kind of a mutual
Win-win.
beneficial. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, is there any last bits of inspiration or advice that you would give to future photographers that want to either do studying of photography or just work on it?
I think if I could give advice to other photographers, it would just be take photos every day. And really, the best camera you have is the one that you have on you. So even if it's your camera on your phone, that's better than nothing. And that will really help you develop your eye. And like I said, recognize when a moment is happening or about to happen.
Yeah.
So that's my best advice.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel. And is there anything else you would like to mention on the podcast today? Thank you for your time again.
Thank you. And I just would like to say I really appreciate this opportunity to be able to do this. I think it's amazing that the state is doing this, and that I wish this was an opportunity for more people. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to WAM, the Wellness Arts and Military Podcast, where we're more than just finger paints. Stay connected with us for more inspiring stories and resources. And remember, art and well-being are a powerful pair.